In this problem, we're being asked to take the derivative of the square root of x plus 3 over x squared minus 2 times the cube root of x. Now, we got a lot going on here, and none of these really fit the form that we want to apply the power rule. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is start with a rewrite, see if I can get these into that form of just x to a power. Right? And of course, if there's a constant, I can just hold those constants out front. That won't really affect my derivative process. Okay? So let's take the derivative. Square root of x, that's going to become x to the power of 1/2. 3 over x squared, that's going to become 3 times x to the power of -2. And to send it up, we can flip the sign on the exponent on the power. And then over here, -2 cube root of x becomes x to the power of 1/3. Right? So using the same logic we did with the square root has an index here of 2, so we know that that should be power 1 over 2 because this already started with a power of 1. Same thing here, cube root of x, this already starts with power 1, so it'd be 1 over that index there, 1 over 3. Okay. If there was some other number here, like a 2 or a 5, you would get 5/3, for example, in that case, because this power always stays in the numerator. Okay. Great, so now we have it rewritten. Each of these is in the form that we would want for a power rule. So let's go ahead and apply the power rule. For the first term, the derivative of this would be 1/2 x to the power of -1/2. Right? So we drop it down and we take 1 away. Same process here, 3x to -2. So when we drop this -2 down, we can actually go ahead and just multiply that by the 3 right away. So instead of having to write this out as 3 times -2x to the -3 when we take 1 away, I can just multiply those right away. Okay, I'm going to leave it here just for now, but what we would do moving forward is kind of recognize that those things are going to just multiply. So here, I'm going to do the first term as well. So send this to the denominator, make it positive 1/2. 3 and 2 is going to be -6 times 1 over x cubed. Okay, so I'd probably get the -6 right away, like I was saying, when we drop it down. Same thing over here, -2 times the 1/3 drops down, we get x to the power of -2/3. Again, you would subtract 1 here if it helps. You need to get a common denominator, 3 over 3. 1 minus 3 would be -2. Okay. So as we do this, we'll get faster and faster. We won't need to show all of the steps that we did to do it. We should be able to quickly kind of jump even from possibly here without a rewrite to something like this or even the next line. Okay. Let's rewrite this one as well. So 2, and this would be -2/3 times 1 over x to the 2/3. So at this step, I'd probably rewrite x to the 1/2 as the root. Remember, our starting terms here had the roots in them. They weren't exponents, so it wasn't x to the 1/2 or x to the 3/2 or 2/3 or 1/3 or whatever it might be. So I just want to bring my final answer to fit the same form, you know? So if there were radicals, I want to keep them as radicals. Now, the 6 over x cubed, the -2/3, so this x to the power of 2/3 would be, let's do this, -2 over 3. The denominator becomes the index of the root, so this would be cube root. And remember, the numerator stays as the power, so this would be cube root of x squared. So this whole thing would be my final answer, representing the derivative of this starting expression up here.